Good evening, Surgeaholics. Good evening, Ron. I think Ron is saying it best right here, guys. This should be interesting. And I think by this, he means this live show because there is news from Norman, which, hey, the soap opera continues, guys, because that's what this is. How can you do a live show every night and always have stuff to talk about? Well, it's the University of Oklahoma. And guess what, guys? Joe John Finley is still on the staff, and Zack Alley is not. Welcome to Sooner Football and the Sooner Surge nightly 9:30 live show where we're just a podcast who tells it like it is. Fans for the fans. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys? It seems like another day, and you hear some other crazy news out of Norman. When's it going to stop? Who knows? What's it going to be tomorrow? Who knows? This Zack Alley stuff, guys. There's been rumblings about it, and I know Jeremy. Who knows what's going to happen? And now that it's happened, I mean, I got a few opinions on it. I'm just going to go ahead and lay my opinions out, okay? And I've heard a lot of different things all over Twitter and seen things about the way he left. Didn't say anything, whatever. I understand he probably last night said he was coming back. You hear people say he's coming. Here's the thing. It's clear what happened here, in my opinion, is that he either saw next year not going any better and he would be looking for a job if BV gets fired, or B, maybe he's not getting to do what he wants there at Oklahoma and calling the plays. Something's missing. He just came in from Jacksonville State to go to OU, and now he's leaving. Guys, Brent Venables, 3 years, 3 defensive coordinators, 3 offensive coordinators. There's a common denominator there.
Yeah, and real quick, Matthew, it can't get worse. I was talking with a buddy about it today, and that was the exact response.
We keep saying that, though, but it does.
Yeah, it's. I don't even know what to say at this point. I didn't see this one coming at all. And Jay, I know you said it just a minute ago about of maybe it being something of more security at West Virginia. I don't know.
No, I think
jobs are on the line for 2025. They have to turn it around, or there might not be a job to come back to. Plain and simple.
Hey,
that's everything. Because if the head coaching change were to happen, nobody is safe, and that happens anywhere.
But Hunter,
bring in new people, and vice versa. But
hey, Hunter, real quick, he came to Oklahoma to be the defensive coordinator.
Correct.
Maybe he's not getting a chance to be the defensive coordinator, guys.
All that is speculation. Here's what I know for sure. Okay? Here's what I know for sure. He's going to go to West Virginia and work with an entire group that he's been with. But Daniel hit it right on the head. And I want to say this because this is what I also have heard. And I want to say this is not speculation because those who are in the know have said this. He went to the team in the locker room, right, Jay, and said he's going to be back.
I don't know that. I don't know.
That's according to the reports, Jay, who were there. And then the next day he's gone. To me, look, I would hope that if that happened, he would then go back to the players and say, guys, some things have changed. I don't know if he has, but to me, that's kind of chicken. And I'll say it's chicken.
Jerm, I don't know what you want me to say. If he came to OU to have a lot of control of the defense and he's not getting that, I don't blame him for leaving. If he came to OU to be here for a few years and he's worried about not being there after next year, I don't blame him for leaving. Okay.
I'm not saying Jay, I'm not saying the leaving part. I'm saying it's chicken if that's how he left.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, Jerm. I don't know.
I would never tell my athletes that I've coached or students that, hey, I'm going to be your coach tomorrow, and then the next day not be their coach. If I knew ahead. To me, that's the chicken part. Go be where he needs to be. That's fine. I hope he does great at West Virginia. It sounds like there could be a coach in waiting title. I don't know. That's great for him, but I just don't like the way it went down according to what people are saying. Do I know how it went down? No, I don't know how it went down.
Jerm, let me ask you a question, Jerm. And this is totally different than this scenario, but if you bring maybe maybe I don't want to even compare it really, but it's because it's different. But say one of your former students, you hire him to be under you, and after 1 year they leave. What does that tell you?
It's bad. I
What
mean,
what does that tell you?
Jay,
I don't
that's bad.
know
I agree.
what the reasonings for it, which I don't know the reasonings for it. That's bad. Yes, like the guy, you listen to him talk, you listen to everything from what players say. A mini Brent Venables, only there for 1 year. That's bad. There's no way you can spin that one.
And I see people saying, I know Eric said, I don't know what he told the players. I don't, but I can base it off what the tweets are coming out. And it doesn't look like it was good. It doesn't look like there was any conversation.
That's true, John.
And hey,
that's
wait,
true.
Jay, Liz says you can't say you're leaving until everything is finalized. Again, if I was in those shoes and someone came to me with an opportunity, I would flat out tell who I'm with. Guys, there's an opportunity coming to me. I'm going to go home, pray about it. I don't know which way. You know what I'm going to do, guys. I just want to be up front with you. That's what I would do.
Hey, and real quick, JRK77, I've seen multiple people say that it's about Alley or Arbuckle. Alley's he's barely been a DC, and you would hire him to be the head coach at Oklahoma. What are we doing?
They're both 30 or younger.
What are we doing? I mean, no way.
Shocked if.
What about Barry Odom?
For a DC?
That's what Ryan says. I think it's going to be Brandon Hall, probably.
You mean Brian Odom?
I was reading the comment, Ryan.
Brian Odom, maybe. Barry Odom.
Brian Odom
just took the head coaching job at Purdue.
Exactly.
Yes.
Assume the comment was meant to say Brian Odom. But
and Jesse's probably right. It's probably a bigger, better deal. Probably is, money-wise. And, hey, great for Zack Alley. Like, this is not – I'm not sitting here saying that he made the wrong decision. I'm not. Okay? I'm not saying anything about that. I'm going to stop talking about maybe how it happened because I don't know for sure. I don't. I'm just basing off what people are saying. But it says a lot about what's happening, Jay, because BV, I think, has to come out and say something. And I would love for others to come out and say something, but I don't know if we will because they don't ever say anything.
And that is an issue. And I see Jordan asking, it was Devon Sears has put his name in the portal for defensive lineman. We've seen that. Guys, here, let's move on for a second and talk about this position as defensive coordinator. Guys, we talked about it when they were hired an OC. Will it be difficult to get an offensive coordinator? And we said, yeah, it could be. It's going to be way more difficult to get a DC in here, guys. Just be ready because, Jeremy, I see you're already looking. Jeremy, listen. Who's going to want to come be under Brent Venables when you got the name of Brent Venables on the defense? Like, is it a win? It's a no-win situation as a defensive coordinator, Jerm. Who's going to take it?
Hunter, you go first.
Who's going to take it?
Everything I wouldn't say it's no win. I think there's a chance you could win in that.
Hunter, tell me how.
They somehow figure it out. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, but how, Hunter, regardless, most people would say that's a Brent Venables defense, not the guy who's calling the plays. I promise you.
Well, what were people saying this year? Were they saying it's a Zack Alley defense?
No, I don't think so, Hunter. I don't think so.
Okay.
Not on any national broadcast I watched.
Well,
I'm gonna
national versus like sometimes national. You got to take that with a grain of salt there. But no, I think it's more so likely that they promote somebody from within and then figure out the linebacker coach.
Well, I've got an idea on this, and I'll tell my opinion. But hey, real quick, Matthew, I don't know why you're watching us. If we are such a clown show, please go elsewhere, I guess. Like, I'm glad you're in here watching, but if you don't want your name tied to it, I guess stop commenting and being on here every night.
Stop. That's not at all what is being said.
He's talking about Wes Goodwin.
Wes Goodwin from Clemson.
Yeah, the Clemson guy. I again can't. I apologize, Matthew. That's what you're saying because let me talk about Wes Goodwin. Can he recruit? Yes. Do I want him at OU? I don't really. I don't think that would be a good decision. Jay, I'm going to answer your question about who could come in here, who would come in here. a guy maybe who's been out a while and maybe would want to be a head coach, that maybe he could come in here a year, do great with the defense, and then if BV goes, he's the next guy.
Jeremy, wait, stop, please stop.
I have to
I'm
think
so
of it.
listen. I am so tired of the head coach and waiting stuff that people are trying to do.
I didn't say
that
in
never.
waiting.
You're going to have a guy come in and be a defensive coordinator for 1 year, and if BV gets fired, he's going to be the head coach. Stop! What are we doing at Oklahoma? Come on.
That could happen, Jay.
I don't think there's
what about that name?
I could not imagine a world in which Gary Patterson is on the sidelines at Oklahoma.
Agreed. But
I don't think with the current situations of everything right now that jobs are on the line. It's a prove it year. If it doesn't work out, there's not going to be for the staff a job to come back to. At least you wouldn't imagine. I mean, you can't have right now they have 2 losing seasons in 3 years. If it doesn't work out, you're talking about maybe even 3 and 4. I don't know. Still not competing for SEC or even sniffing the playoff in that scenario. There's not going to be a head coach in waiting title that's anything more than just like a falsehood. Like,
yeah, you guys are missing what I meant.
I'm going off what you said. And by the way,
what I'm saying is, you said no one would come here knowing BV was gone, knowing BV might leave the next year. There's guys who might thinking, well, I might be able to be the head coach.
Jeremy, listen to me real quick. Listen, please, just sit back and listen real quick, okay? The chances of the chances that this hire is going to be within either Brandon Hall, Bates, is probably, in my opinion, about 90%. Okay, I think you're going to get somebody from within, and then you're going to get the linebacker coach promoted up. I think that's probably what's going to happen because honestly, I don't know who else you're going to get, Germ. I just think with Brent Venables' name on the defense, why would the guy leave Clemson to come to OU when Brent Venables' name is on it? He's going to stay at Clemson, wouldn't he? I just don't see why.
I would think, Jay, and I see people talking Bates and Hall. Yeah, I agree. Those names. Brandon Hall was the DC at Troy. I know he loves being safeties coach. It sounds like he loves his role, but I'm sure that's the guy. But
hey, real quick, I don't know the issues of why Alley left. I want to say that right up front, like I said earlier. But guys, this is not the nature of the business. It doesn't happen to have 3 offensive coordinators and 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. That is not normal.
Correct. And Bobby just thinks Hall doesn't want it. That he would be the first guy that offered it, but doesn't want it. Hey, Jay, and Hunter, you may see the comments as well. Guys, I'm going to say this just like I say when OU loses a recruit. If you're in here saying that, well, forget Alley. He wasn't any good anyway. He was pretty much the only coach that people were all in on this year. Like, people loved Zack Alley. Now all of a sudden, he's just a scrum? No, he was a good coach.
I wouldn't say he's the only coach, but yes, I get what you're saying there, Jeremy. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but now it's like, well, OU didn't need him. He wasn't very good.
I think that's a back take to be like, oh, they don't need him. I mean, losing him after 1 year. Again, this guy started his career under Brent Venables at Clemson, has rose fast to become one of the most talked about defensive coordinators in the country, to then get the job at Oklahoma I think he accepted it at 29 years old, just turned 30, and he leaves after 1 year to go from an SEC program to a Big 12 program. Yeah, that's a bad look, a bad loss. I mean, I don't know what else you can call it. Like, it's bad. And to say that, oh, like, it's no big deal, like, I think that's just a bad take there.
Hey,
Jerm, I got to say something real quick on that. The if they promote Hall or Bates and stuff, and I know a lot of people think, and I included, think they're probably going to do that. Should have done it last year then. I mean, now looking back, I mean, why'd you? Here,
yeah.
I mean, you go get it. Why did you pass? I mean, if one of those guys wanted it and you passed him up for Alley, I don't know. This is just, guys. It's not good right now at Oklahoma. They got to figure some things out big time. This is just
yeah, it's bad, Jay. It's the definition of abysmal debacle, soap opera-ish. Like, you can name a lot of words to describe what's happening. And it's one thing. There's something every day. The comment about the micromanaging, the comment about people might not want to work for him, that all might be true. Now, I don't know if it is, but here's what I would say, Hunter. And look, you're around media, I think. You know kind of that world much more than I do. But part of this, to me, in my opinion, some of this stuff could be addressed if they would just let all the coaches talk to the media. Like, I know they're not going to, but look, to me, that's part of micromanaging. Like, let the coaches speak.
Yeah,
I'm talking about all the nation, not just OU. Let the position coaches speak.
A lot of other programs, like I've seen, I think it was Ole Miss, they allow their coaches. LSU,
let them speak.
Maybe I think I'm forgetting somebody of that. It's like once a week. Other SEC programs looking through their media guide or game notes has the media schedule in it. They will
when can OU's
practice availability for OU right now. It's just Brent Venables, his press conference, then his post game, then the coordinators post game. So
yeah, that is correct. None of the other coaches get to speak.
I'm not going to get into that, but that's the situation right now.
Hey, do y'all know the deal? Has anybody even heard any rumblings of what the deal possibly could have been?
So, like the money wise of the deal?
Money wise, stipulation,
okay.
Correct.
Coach in waiting.
Okay, so from what I'm reading from Pete Thamel, the original report from ESPN.com, the deal is expected to put Alley near the top of the market for Big 12 coordinators. If you look at that, I mean, the top 10 coordinators, the least amount of money they're making in the Big 12. Wait, sorry. Maybe I can get a correct list in just a second on that. It gave me a national. The least amount of money is $1 million, and he was slated to make, according to this article, $900,000 at Oklahoma. So
yes,
that puts him towards the top. I'm assuming that means in that top 5 range, there should be a pay boost in there, and also stability. I mean, that I think that's pretty much certain that there is stability there at that job. With Rich Rod back at West Virginia, it's a 3-year deal. For him, they're not going to get rid of him before 3 years. That's usually that window that everyone gets at a Power 4 school.
Hey, Hunter. Hunter, the deal was based on Twitter, though, based on some people, I think maybe from Scoop and Insider, is that OU had offered him a new contract, and that he had pretty much said he was going to accept it. Yeah. They thought so. I think he would have got more money at OU, guys. I don't think it's a money issue. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Else of that contract. I'm just going off of what Thamel put in the article about. He's expected to be towards the top. So yeah, and maybe money wasn't the issue at all. If it's not stability, if it's not money, I don't know what it is. Like
it's pretty obvious what it is.
He's been offered a coach in waiting.
Well, no, I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious is full reign of a defense. That's what he wants.
I'm not sure that's totally it.
Germ.
Jay, to me, if there is an offer of coach in waiting, he would have to take that.
No, he wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I would think it would be much more along the line. Hey, and by the way, the people that say he's a control freak, it's not like Zack Alley didn't know who Brent Venables was. He quote was, he's a second father to me. He knows exactly who he was.
Jeremy, when was the last time he worked with Brent Venables? Tell me a time ever. When?
At Clemson, he knew exactly who he was, Jay.
But has he worked with him?
Well, I mean, I think he was around him a lot, Jay. I don't know.
Okay, but how did he call defenses with him?
Well, no, Jay, he hasn't.
Okay, that's what I'm saying is you don't know that maybe he got here and was like, I thought I was going to have more rain than this. And I don't know, Germ. I'm a fan, and I'm wondering, I'm questioning things.
Can we stop even talking about this? Because I think the bigger issue is we can ask why all we want, guys. We can ask why. We can ask, well, how did this happen? It happened. And BV is still here And you got to ask yourself at this point, why? You also got to ask your point, why is Joe John Finley here? I can't explain it, Jay. It's inexplicable right now. And a lot of this is, to me, guys, where are they going now? You're right. They got to hire from within. They're just going to have to hire from within next year. Hope it works out, because if not, they're all gone anyway.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah, I think I agree, Jeremy. I think they're going to hire from within. I do.
And Denny, yes, I misspoke. 5-year deal was more getting at, regardless of that, you're going to get 3 years. That's just how it goes at a Power 4 program, unless something kind of unrelated to football were to go down. You're going to get 3 years to put everything together.
Hey, and I see
Wow,
Sooner to
Jay.
Boom. Hey, Sooner to Boom says, put a pipe in it, Jay. You quit football in the 5th grade and feel you can jump on every night lecturing people on football. Hey, you know what, Sooner? I will tell you this. I quit football in 6th grade. You were
6th
almost
grade.
right. You were almost correct. But I'll say this. I am not telling people what they should do. I'm a fan telling my opinion. Period. That's what I am. Okay? If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't care. That's who I am. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and I knew it was 6th grade. I was right there with you. Crystal, thanks for the super. You donate a lot to our channel throughout this year. We appreciate you. Smart move by Alley. He inherently knows BV is getting fired next year. He needed to reposition himself. Yeah, he probably looked out for himself. And I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning the how of it all, but it doesn't matter. And I hate co-DCs. I don't like that term. In other words, BV's calling the defense. And then there was a comment here. I got to get to it about Dion to OU, make it happen. Look, I'm at the point now, I'd say, okay, fine, whatever. Get people all on board again. But Dion got just lit up tonight against BYU. Didn't look like they had him prepared. And what up with Cam? Someone said Iowa State today. Yeah, got a great win. But Cam Ward just said, I'm not playing second half. What is going on in football?
That situation is crazy.
That's a whole nother situation.
From Ian Rappaport, the NFL insider, about that, of calling out Cristobal for not allowing Ward to clear the air to the media after the game, answer questions as to why you play in the first half and then don't play after that in a loss.
Hey, I don't think
real quick,
matter,
did y'all,
Eric,
real quick.
They sure did, because they got a policy out for those guys and got drilled. That's funny.
Real quick, did y'all get to the super from Crystal? I don't know if we dropped that question, but I can't get it on my screen. Okay, thank you. So where does it go from here, guys? Here you are going in an SEC year number 2. Remember, year number 1, you had a new offense coordinator and a new defense coordinator. Year number 2, you have a new offense coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. That is unbelievable. I almost think, how's that even possible? How's that even possible? The only way I thought that would be possible is if you were so freaking good in the SEC, your guys moved on to get head coaching jobs.
That's the only way.
Remember, I saw it on Twitter. I thought of I can't remember who said it, that you wouldn't expect something like that to happen unless you're competing for a national championship or winning a national championship, to have to replace both coordinators after 1 year. And
now, hey, Michael says 0 impact. I think it's right. Let's open the phone lines. If one of you guys can drop it in the chat, we'll open the phone lines here. But Michael says way overblown, 0 impact. I think he did a great job this year. I don't think we can disagree with that. Now, what recruits has he brought in? I'd have to look at exactly who he was the one recruiting, but BV makes the impossible possible.
Hey, Noma. I mean, there's been plenty of people on this. I will say this from this show is that anybody that's watched this show, the negativity, there's been a lot of negativity on this show because OU had 6 wins. It's not like this is just happening, okay? This has been talked about plenty of times on this show from people. So, I don't know the answer with Brent Venables. All I know is they got to win a lot of games next year.
Yeah,
that's what I know.
Sooner to Boom. Hey, man, keep calling us what you want to, man. I'm just shocked you're still watching it, man, if we're that bad. Man. Must be pretty bad to watch us and still keep watching it when you say how bad we are. Good job, man. Let's get to the phone lines. We got John on the line. What's up, John?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
What's up?
I don't know. You think maybe Zack Alley leaving maybe had something to do with Zack Alley was not very good?
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Are you
sure?
saying they forced him out? No.
Who gives up a 95-yard run to a Navy quarterback besides
John,
Zack
they
Alley?
did not force him out.
Record on the books, longest run in Navy history was by Zack Alley. What has Zack Alley done? Nothing.
Well, he didn't run
Let
the ball.
him go.
He didn't run the
Be
ball
gone.
95 yards. I know that.
Be gone. Be gone, Zack
He
Alley.
is gone. He is gone.
Thank God. Now let's get rid of DeMarco, Joe John Finley.
Yeah, I
Let
agree
BB
with those. Those deserve to be gone. Zack Alley, in my opinion, didn't have a justification of being gone.
Well, I'm not saying he did, but you don't know.
You said he allowed the longest run in the history of the game. He should be gone. That's what you said.
Well,
No, he actually said he ran the longest in the history. Zack Alley did.
I may have misspoken. You get my point. We're setting records in the wrong direction. Like Naval Academy quarterbacks have been running for 90 years of getting record runs against us. Get out of here, Zack Alley. I don't care about you.
He's out of here, man. He's out of here.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks for the call, John.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you calling in. But hey, again, I'm going to say this. Everyone who says, well, OU doesn't need Zack Alley, it's ridiculous. Are the same people who love Zack Alley all year. So stop.
That's what always happens. That's what always happens.
What's up, Platone?
So my view, there's three primary jobs of head coach. One, recruit players. Two, develop the players. Three, hire coaches and mentor those coaches and build them up. Recruit, I think BV's done decent with that. I know hasn't been perfect, but he's done overall pretty good with that. Develop, I think that's below average, great for that. But three, on coaching and mentoring coaches to build them up, absolute F. I mean, he's been absolutely terrible with that. The best case scenario is that, Alley was okay with BV, but he just decided he wanted more control to leave. And that's the best interpretation. The other ones are worse than that. The other interpretations are like, Alley was fed up with him or things like that. So no matter what, it's a fail by BV in that. And I'm trying to think back. Maybe you guys can help me with this. Did Bob Stoops ever lose a coordinator to another coordinator position? I don't remember that happened. They left for head coach jobs, but I don't remember him losing any ones to coordinators. But I'll let you correct me on that if I'm wrong.
I mean, Mark Mangino went to the Kansas, right?
Yes.
But,
yeah, that was.
But you're saying didn't take a lateral.
Mark Mangino was offensive.
Right. Yeah, didn't take a lateral move, I guess you could say. Yeah. I don't think they haven't. Have six coordinators in 3 years tells the story. BV's hiring has been atrocious.
I just think he doesn't know how to he just doesn't know how to communicate with them or something. I don't know. There's some kind of breakdown there. But anyway, you can't be a good head coach if you're failing at one. Even if you do good with recruiting and other stuff, it's not going to go well. But anyway, I think next year is going to be his last year, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, thanks for the call, Platone. I think it was well said. And I see Mike, I've seen multiple people say this about Saban. There's a difference though. Saban's guys were getting head jobs and like
they're winning national championships or playing for a national championship, competing for SEC championships year in and year out. A lot different than what's going on at Oklahoma right now. Way different scenario.
Yeah. Looks like we got KB Longhorn.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man?
Hey, y'all doing all right? Hey, look at it from this angle, see what you think. Okay, we've talked about development not being very good, maybe evaluation of talent being brought in. Let's Seth Luttrell didn't do very good. Now some people are saying Zack Alley's not all that. Some of them are saying Bedenbaugh's falling off. You think all this may be happening, not just because of them, but them under BV's direction, under his management?
I think that has to be talked about. I mean, to me, KB, we've talked about this before on the show. To me, it all starts with the head coach. I mean,
sure.
Everything. And whether it be practice schedules, organization of your practice, all of it starts up top, and who knows what's going on? I don't know, but something's not right to have 2, 6, and 7 seasons in 3 years.
Well, and I said here a while back, I told you, and I think you remember, I was like, something's not right. And there's just too much wrong under this same coach in a 3-year span that just starts making you think that there's got to be something.
And KB, I think what Mr. B says in the chat is exactly what you're saying. It's a symptom of it's a symptom of the disease or the dysfunction from the top.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you may have the greatest OC or DC in the world, but if it ain't running smooth from the top down, none of it works.
Yeah, and you can't defend what's happening anymore. You just can't defend it.
And by the way, we've all probably been in jobs where you may be really good at what you're doing. And I don't know this, take this with a grain of salt, but when you have somebody that's over you, that's not letting you get to your full potential and be that person, it limits
you. Don't know, but you don't know that's why.
I don't, Jerm. I don't. You're right. I don't.
We don't know that's what's happening, but that is a good point. I mean, if you're not allowed to do what you're supposed to do, then you're not the person that they really brought you in to do what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You put limitations on them, and
limitations.
I said from the beginning, this OC thing, when they brought him in and kept everybody else, they were already undermining him right then. To me.
And hey, and thanks for the call, KB. Appreciate it. Hey, before we get to Clyde, one thing I want to say about KB's call, and this is not defending BV in any way. When things get really stressful, guys, and someone like BV feels like he's fighting for his job, guess what some people tend to do in those moments? Take even more control. Trust less. And that's probably hurt him, guys. Let's get to Clyde.
It's a possibility. And Jerm, I don't think anyone will ever, like coaches say, exactly what went down. I don't think anyone will know the official true story and all of that. But what's up, Clyde?
At this point, I just assume have Bob Stoops back, let Brent Venables go back to being the defensive coordinator, Art Buckle at the OC. Bob Stoops is at every game anyways. Things were a whole lot smoother then.
Yeah, and hey, Hunter, drop the stat that you said today in the chat. I don't know.
Smooth cannot be a word to describe OU football anymore, can it?
No, it cannot. It's mismanaged from the top, and I really like Brent Venables, but I think he's a whole lot better just as a defensive coordinator and not running the show. And personally, I think he'd be happy with going back to that and getting all this pressure off of his shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, no telling. I don't think he'd ever be the DC at OU anymore. I just don't think that would ever happen.
No, you don't get demoted to defensive coordinator. That just doesn't happen.
Well, I think he may be balling out of his league at this point.
Yeah, it seems to look that way, doesn't it? Thanks, Clyde.
Yep.
And we'll know this year because there's no way. I mean, this year's going to, I mean, we all thought a lot of times it maybe could have been this year, but this year coming up, I mean, it's make or break. And Hunter, do you have what you dropped a stat earlier about Bob Stoops? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I believe it was Christopher Oven who said it on Twitter. Could be wrong on that. Since Bob Stoops has retired, Oklahoma only has 2 bowl wins. And one of them was coached by Bob Stoops in the bowl game. That Oregon game in 2021. The only other bowl win was Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl in 2020 against Florida with Lincoln Riley as the head coach. Crazy stat to think about because it's now been, 7 years? Is that right?
Yeah.
7 years. Yeah. It's about to be 2025. Bob
7 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Hey, some truth here by Daniel. I mean, listen, Daniel and BV, I mean, BV is Daniel's guy. I mean, he says every coordinator Bob hired turned into something or someone memorable. I mean, Bo Pelini went to Nebraska. Mangino, BV, ironically, when he goes to Clemson. Kevin Wilson. I mean, all those guys, yeah, they've done something. He says, I'm starting to believe my coach isn't a good decision maker. Let's get to Coconut Greg.
Fellas, so all the experts, all the surveys, all the studies out there will say when people leave jobs, it's almost always because of their manager or whoever's above them. They're trying to escape that situation or move on to something better. And I feel like that's what this is. Alley's worked under Brent Venables two places now, and he's also worked under Rich Rod. He's choosing Rich Rod over BV. That's what this feels like to me. Sure, there's
Great
other
point.
perks of it. He's, might have more autonomy over what happens with the defense, but yeah, he's choosing the other manager in this situation.
And Greg, I agree with you, because think about this, guys. He was the DC at Jacksonville State with Rich Rod as the head coach, right? So he was calling the defense. That's the only school really where he's been the DC. He goes to OU in the same role, so he has an apples to apples comparison, working with Rich Rod as the DC when I was the DC, or this year. And that could definitely be true to it. He might be sitting there thinking that was a lot. I really like the work relationship I had. And he can still say he loves BV and he's a fatherly figure, but the working relationship just may not be working out.
That's what I think it is. And it really stinks. I wish it was different. All season long, I felt like Brent Venables has been like distracted. And we all know that his wife is incredibly sick. Some people even think that she's close to passing away. I don't know what's true or not, but I've always felt like this whole season that Brent Venables hasn't been all in on football. And, if my spouse or someone I loved was going through that same thing, I'd feel the same way. I don't know if that's what this is, but it kind of feels like that to me. And it's affecting how he coaches football and how the people under him see him as a leader and can work with him. It's unfortunate. Hey, I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the call, Coconut. I mean, great point, and I think most people agreed with you in the chat, so appreciate it.
Hey,
well, I do think though I don't know anything. I don't really want to even speculate on with the wife as far as the illness. I think he's putting everything he has in this job, guys. I do. I
would agree with that,
I just think he's never been a head coach. Guys, it's hard
right
when
now on him, Jay.
What?
There's a lot on him right now, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So
he's never been a head coach. And hey, sooner to the boom, there's no profanity on here. That's a warning. And second of all, to think that a podcast is setting OU football back may be the most asinine comment I've heard in my life. But thanks for making it on there. It made my night. Man, that power here at the Sooner Surge. Wow. We got power to set OU football back by commenting? This is crazy. Let's get to John.
Yeah, and I get to John. I agree. Let's not, as far as the wife, nobody knows on what situation that is. So, yeah. Let's get to John.
I'm not going to comment on the wife situation. I don't even want to think about that. But I will comment on, can you imagine if you were named head coach of Oklahoma, how much pressure you would be under? And you had
but you know that going in. You know that.
That's true. But you didn't know that going in that you were going to have 2 losing seasons in the first 3.
Well, you don't know that, but you're in control of that.
That's part of the job. Like, you got to win.
Part of the job. I'm not going to make excuses for injuries. I've been bashing on BV since he's been out coached every game. But you have to admit that this guy's been through more pressure than you or I or any of these callers.
He has, because I'm not the head coach at Oklahoma. I don't take that job because I know what pressure would be on there. I couldn't do that.
He took it, though. He took it.
But
give
hey,
him
John,
credit.
Don't you think? Look, it snowballed. That's a fact. He thought Jeff Lebby was still going to be his coordinator. This is not how he planned it. But
I don't know. It's giving me anxiety. I've been a Sooner fan. I don't know why it affects me so much like it does. When OU wins, I feel good. When they lose, I hurt.
Yeah, well, hey, I used to be that way, and then I realized, you know what? These guys are getting $2 million, $1 million. After the game, they're congratulating the other team and smiling. And I realized, you know what? This isn't that big of a deal.
You don't remember when I told you about Smear the Queer in the park and the jump kick tackling dude?
I don't know where this is going, but yeah, that's yeah. Not sure. Moving on. Moving on.
I don't even know what to say.
I don't know. I don't know what you say to that, guys.
Well, look, here's what I would say to it. I get fans are upset. They should be upset, okay? But in the end, these guys are getting paid to play football, look, if he gets fired or they let him go, he gets $44 million. Maybe the fact that maybe he's trying to do that. Guys, just let me go. I'll get 44 mil.
No, that's.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And hey, stop with the comments on the game that was mentioned. We don't even need to talk about that.
Hey, and by the way, first off, Zias, you're always on there. I appreciate you. Says, look, I love OU, but I'm not letting them dictate my life. And that's exactly right. This is a fan show. You know what? We can have opinions as fans, and that's all this is, a place where everybody can come on here, say their opinion. And you know what? I hate it. I hate it as an OU fan that it's come to this at OU where they've had 2 losing seasons. But I promise you, tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to still love my life. Okay? I am.
Yeah. Hey,
but will you love it more if Joe John Finley's gone tomorrow? I'm just kidding.
A lot of talk tonight on Zack Alley, rightfully so. Shocking news today for the Oklahoma football program. But they also got a tight end, Division II tight end.
Why, Hunter? Why?
Not 8 foot. What was that? 8'7", 6'7" tight end from Pitt State, Will Huggins. So there's that. I don't know. Kind of shocked that they're taking 2 low production from lower level competition tight ends in the position that room is in right now.
Germ is out.
Yeah, and hey,
anyway.
Hey, real quick, Jordan mentioned this earlier. Can we agree to let BB to build and call the defense while being a head coach and let Arbeck do his thing? And I guarantee we'll be better. Germ, can you speak on my question,
I'll speak
please?
on it. I'll speak on it. If that's the case, then you don't even need to move anyone in the coordinator role. But I mean, do I think that'll happen? I think if they promote from within, BB's still going to be calling the D now. I guess you got to say this, Jordan. It's his last year. It's his last year. So I guess if he wants to go out calling the defense, so be it.
Hey, and real quick before we move on, I got to say, FanStop, check them out, www.thefanstop.com. Get your officially licensed OU gear. If you don't want OU, you're going to get another team. They got plenty of teams. Also, in the description of the video, a lot of you guys are members, and we appreciate it big time, and you're in the Discord, and there's some great talk in the Discord. If you're not, click the link, join up. It's a great community of all OU fans. You never know what you'll hear in there either, guys.
Hey, Hunter, they would be saving money. They could bump Alley. I mean, they could bump Hall and Bates maybe a little if they coordinated it. And then you got Skaliski or as linebacker coach. You wouldn't have to pay him a lot.
Yeah, I don't think really money is the issue there. I mean, that's one of those that money pool is separate from other things that you're kind of hinting at where it could be going. NIL, revenue sharing, it's separate there. So saving money, I don't see why they would do that. I think they're already doing that enough with how, compared to other schools in the SEC head coaching contracts and what Brent Venables is at right now, all of that. I don't think money in terms of coaching staff is the issue and would be a decider at all of one way or the other of where they go and all of that. And a comment about donating salary to NIL, I don't think that will happen, but it has happened. The whole Mike Gundy situation at Oklahoma State, Mike Norvell at Florida State donated some of his. So maybe that's something you see more common. I don't think that will happen in this situation.
Someone said if you set the number of wins at 7 next year, over or under, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I am too. I'm saying right now, December 20.
And Jeff's asking if they have to win. Jeff's asking if they have to win 9. Yes.
8 or 9.
Win 9 game.
I would think it would be more towards 9, but 8 or 9. 8, they would maybe consider giving them another year. I don't know. but I would think not 9 makes you comfortable for sure.
And
9
I
games
agree.
on the
I
outside
agree that it
looking in.
looked. I agree it looked like, guys. I agree it looked like he was calling less of the defense this year. But Hunter, didn't he say in a couple of games, like after the game in the presser, that he looked over at Zach and mentioned some things to him? Or
Jeremy, it's been a long season.
yeah, that's
I
the least.
don't remember every quote put out there from
Graphic memory.
post game. There you go, Jeremy. Yeah, photographic memory. You wouldn't have to ask me. So,
hey, where's the call-in link? It's pinned at the top, Sooner fan. Give us a holler. Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about Will Huggins any. But hey, is Joe John Finley going to be there?
the longer it goes, you kind of have to, because I mean the clock is ticking at this point. Like it really is. It's December 28th. The portal is closing tonight. Technically, bowl game participants get 5 more days following their bowl game. So you're going to have that wave of playoff teams later and all that. But, I mean, you really need to make a decision one way or the other of what route you're going. I mean, it just, the longer it goes, I would think, yeah, maybe he does. I don't get it. It's, as you just did, a head scratcher.
It's a head scratcher. Thanks.
If they
Glad
were
you caught
to,
on to the gesture there.
yeah, they were to retain him. So I don't know.
Hey, guys.
Hey, you want to hear something crazy? Crazy, guys.
It's coming from
If
your
you
mouth,
remember,
I'm sure it is. Go ahead.
Hey, that's fine, Jeremy. I don't care anymore. Hey, Ted Roof last year at this time was still there. So it has not even been a year. In less than a year, they've had 2 defensive coordinators and 3 offensive coordinators. In less than a year.
Yeah.
Correct, Jay.
Like
that's again.
Well,
Hunter.
it already has sunk in. They've had 2 losing seasons in 3 years. I mean, their first losing season of the 21st century in 2022. They've now had another one. Like, yeah, there's nothing that really needs to sink in there. It's already there. Like, it's not good. I mean, regardless of how you try to turn it, spin it, all of that, it's not good across the board.
But and I'm going to get to something after. I think we have a caller on here. We have Sooner fan on the line, and then I'm going to get to something. Wait, let me.
What's up?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
So a couple things. I think the one thing that annoys me the most, especially when it comes to the sunshine pumpers, which I know, Jerm, you hate, is when people say OU fans are spoiled. We have not won a national title in 25 years. We have not won a conference title in 5 years. How are OU fans spoiled at this point? Explain that to me.
I would say, go ahead, Hunter.
I think a lot of it comes down to is, even though they haven't won a national title in now 24 years, as you mentioned.
25.
25 years. It comes down to is, like, look at how historic that run was, even though they didn't win anything in the mid 2010s with back-to-back Heisman winners, Jalen Hurts as well, Heisman runner-up. I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is even though they're not winning championships, they're putting up historic numbers across the board. And I think that's a lot of where the spoil narrative comes from.
And the comments in the chat is the exact word I was going to use. It's more entitled than spoiled. The OU fans think it should happen every year because it did 20-something years ago. Well, when bad decisions are made, when things happen and you don't make good decisions from the top down, OU fans, I'll give another words for OU fans, not just entitled, naive. There's a lot of maybe fans that are naive to the fact that when you don't make good decisions, you lose ball games. So naivety, I think, is also a word.
what is the standard right now for OU football?
Now, I don't think the standard's changed.
Because to me, the standard used to be playing for championships.
From a fan standpoint, isn't that still your standard? It is mine.
It is. But then again, people say we're spoiled. And we're not even playing for anything. We're losing another losing season.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I look at it as OU fans look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M, a lot of times, Texas A&M, the fans will say they expect to win. The longer you go without winning a championship, and that's your standard, the more you're looked at nationally as your standard being a lot lower. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, and Jay and Hunter, your generation is different than my generation. My generation is different than some people's in the chat. There are generations. If you grew up watching OU in the 70s and 80s, you experienced a lot more championships. Hunter, how many championships have you witnessed? Exactly. So there's no way you're spoiled to it because.
And again, back to what I was saying about the spoiled thing, I think some of it also comes from, you see, kind of the whole Spencer Rattler situation, how at times things can be built up into massive controversies and fans upset even though teams are winning. I think that's another part of it. But yeah, you're right. They haven't won a national championship in 25 years. And then first time you said, or first I could really comprehend that it's been 5 years since they've won a conference championship. Like, wow, that's
Hey,
yeah,
5
years.
One more thing, different subject. I was watching the post bowl game Oklahoma breakdown with Eichert and Lehman yesterday, and toward the end, I thought Eichert made a kind of an interesting statement. He basically said that OU needs to get bigger and badder players. He says they need to get players that people say, "Hey, look at that guy." Because he said, we don't have anybody like that right now.
Well,
but don't they say don't they say before the season there's a bunch of guys like that?
Yeah,
they didn't play any of those guys though, Jay.
Guys, I don't know. Frustrated. Something's got to change.
Thanks, Sooner fan. Appreciate you calling in tonight.
I'm with Gabe on that. If that's what Gabe said, they need a bunch of guys that are bigger and badder. I would agree with that.
Jay.
I also think they specifically need them on the offensive line.
Offensive line.
Like that's a specific position group that they really need guys that are bigger and badder and just make you go, wow, that looks like a legitimate SEC offensive lineman. I don't think they have a whole lot of that right now at this point.
Hey, what I was going to say, and I said I'd get to it after Sooner fan. To me, let's just say 3 days go by, Hunter, Jay, and OU doesn't lose a single defensive player in the next 3 days. Doesn't that say a lot?
Say a lot about what?
Well, let's just say they lose 3 or 4 guys, then I think it shows there was a lot of turmoil. They're upset
Jeremy,
they're upset that Alley's gone, Jay.
Jeremy, listen to me closely. I know I might be hard to hear. I have no clue. Yeah, get your ear closer. Get your ear closer. I think BV Germ is a great player's coach. He might not be a coach's coach. Players love him. Maybe the coaches don't.
I could get behind that. I mean, all I'm saying is if OU loses 3 or 5 starters, or let's say R. Mason doesn't come back now, or things are happening, that's even a bigger issue.
What would that tell you? I'm confused.
I think there's more turmoil than people are saying.
Well, Jeremy, when you lose this many coaches
and keep everyone at the DC bolts, then I think that says, okay, at least they're still bought into something. I don't know what
they're bought into Brent Venables, Germ. A lot of people are. That I think that's the truth, Germ. But that doesn't mean just because you're bought in doesn't mean you're going to win games.
I agree, Jay.
The players are absolutely bought in. I was saying it.
I agree.
Like again, there was never a moment of things starting to players talking poorly of the situation, seeing anything visibly, they're always bought in, and that's one thing you have to say props to Brent Venables on is it was a very bad season, yet he never lost the locker room, not at one point through the entire season.
And again, I'm not a sunshine pumper. To say that I'm always on the defense, no, I'm Eric. You know what it's called? It's called looking at different angles, because we're trying to provide different angles here. That's what we're trying to do. We got a caller on the line, Billy Benson. What's up?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we got Oklahoma State. Brent Venables, in my opinion, is starting to turn this program into we're going to become Oklahoma Tech. And I don't even know if they allow Tech teams in the SEC. I mean, this portal his job's on the line, and we just keep going to these little small schools, pulling these portal guys out. I mean, nobody's intimidated by any of them. I mean, besides Mateer, can y'all name me one portal guy that y'all's overly just excited or confident in?
I like Giovanni Gibson a lot. That's the one.
His numbers look good. But I mean, it's just like, if you look at the SEC, the winning record teams like Ole Miss, Tennessee, let's just even throw Oregon, Ohio State, everybody, they're going, when they hit the portal, when them big dogs, them 5-star recruits or them big names pop up, they're getting them. Like Oregon went out and got Evan Stewart, to go with DG. Now look how Dylan Gabriel's job, how easy it is. I mean, we even got Arkansas. I mean, they're looking pretty good on the O line. They going in the portal getting some big guys. I just don't think we're doing a very good job. I mean, if I was BV and my job was on the line, I'd be pouring out all the money I possibly could, and I would just stack the deck. I mean, you're going to have to just get the guys in there and then try to see who can do what.
Yeah, but don't you guys think that money can only go so far? Maybe they just don't want to go play at Oklahoma. I mean,
well, Ole Miss is doing it. Tennessee, everybody's doing it. Ohio State's doing it. All the teams that are like in talks or should have or possibly could have made the playoffs, they're doing it. I mean, that's the recipe. Our recipe is not working. Being tight, like on a Dollar Tree budget, is not. We'll spend money on the quarterback, but we won't put nothing around him. It takes more than one guy. I mean, it just does. I mean, you just get. I mean, we're the only team. I mean, we can look at USC. They pull off the win against Texas A&M. I mean, then USC's in shambles. I mean, everybody's leaving over there. They lose a 5-star. I mean, they're still putting up points. What they score, 35?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, 35 against A&M. Yeah,
but they keep saying they're confident in these young receivers and this young talent, but I mean, they're not producing. I mean, I would just be if Brent Venables is not wanting out the door, I don't know what he's holding back. The last I heard, after they were going to invest in BV, they were going to give him his resources. What's the Switzer Center or whatever is supposed to be stepping it up? Okay, we go get Fasusi. I get it. We get Mateer. Man, that ain't how Georgia, and that ain't how the big programs. They've got 5-star backing up 5-star. They've got 5-star talent leaving because they can't see the field soon enough. We have 1 or 2 sprinkled in. We're not getting the talent. Like Eichert was saying, I heard somebody speak about it. That he's telling the truth. We're not getting the big dogs. I mean, we're going to be Oklahoma Tech. That's how I feel.
Hey, Billy, thanks for the call. And the best line you said was right at the beginning, I think, when you said there are no tech schools in the SEC. That was great, okay? That was absolutely great. And, hey, Sooner to the Boom, I loved your comment, man. God greater than OU, absolutely. Faith over it all. Faith, family, football. That's my motto. Silence, I guess.
I don't know if y'all can even hear me anymore, guys.
Yeah,
I'm doing the
hear you,
best I
Dave.
can here. But as a side note, why don't 5-stars? I think sometimes they do, but I think there's been a lot of time in that quarterback guy. 5-stars haven't panned out in Oklahoma.
He gone.
Yeah.
Hey,
don't
community,
have.
and we're about closing it up here, but communication, transparency, quality players, talent, development, execution of smart schemes. Let's go. Yeah, all those, sign me up. All of the above, Selene. Is it going to happen with this staff? Doesn't look like it, but I don't know. We'll see. Any closing thoughts, Hunter?
No, I mean, just kind of back to what the caller said. Yeah, like Oklahoma, the portal class right now, yeah, they have the number one player in the portal. That's great. They have some wide receivers that I like. I like Giovanni Gibson. I think he could be really good, but it's a wide receiver room or just a team as a whole that there's so much riding on next year. Like, you have to figure out ways to win football games next year. You cannot have what happened this year again, or there's not going to be a job to come back to. And so far they haven't really gotten anyone that's other than the names I just mentioned that are completely something that you should get if you're trying to turn around a 6-7 season, a 2-win SEC season, and turn that into 8, 9, 10 wins in 1 year. Offensive line specifically, they got some guys, but nothing that's really over the top. Derek Simmons, I think, is good and could be good, and even if not just as depth, all that, but I mean, you need starters. You need guys that are going to go win you football games.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you can say that this portal class at this point in time,
outside of 2 or 3 guys, Hunter, that's all.
Absolutely guaranteed any of that.
Yeah, and hey, people keep saying Ryan keeps saying look into Barry Odom. Barry Odom is the head coach at Purdue, correct?
Correct.
Ryan, I think you're talking about Brian Odom.
Yeah, well,
Barry Odom's not going to leave Purdue to be the DC at OU.
He said earlier, Jeremy, we didn't get to it, but said earlier that he was not talking about Brian, but he was talking about.
Oh, he's talking about Barry, but Barry's not going to leave a new head
Barry
coach at Purdue.
Just was the head coach at UNLV. They were ranked in the top 25 to end the season. Had a very good year.
Now was great.
He's at a school to try to turn Purdue around. You're not taking. And I'm aware that he's from Oklahoma.
I would take him in a heartbeat as DC, Hunter.
Yeah, I think anyone in their right mind would. It's not going to happen. And I understand that Chip Kelly left,
but he wasn't coaching.
No, he was. He was the head coach at UCLA, Chip Kelly, and he left. But there was also
getting rid of him. It wasn't his first year on the job.
It was about to. There you go, Bobby. Rex Ryan, while we're at it.
That's what I said earlier in the Discord. Rex Ryan, bring him right now.
Yeah. You don't take a head coaching job and then a couple of weeks later, you know what? I'm going to go be the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma, where if it doesn't work out, I might not have a job to come back to in 1 year. Like, come on. Like, that's just silly. Like, listen.
Yeah, it's different. Kelly was about to be fired.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, for all those who are on here tonight, this was not a special Sooner Surge nightly 9:30 show. No. This is what we do every single night at 9:30. So if you enjoyed it, hit the like. Also, come back tomorrow night. We're never short on anything to talk about. Actually, I thought this was pretty calm tonight. I kind of kept my composure pretty well. Didn't get out of hand. This is usually wait, I might do it right now. I'm not.
You were so good, Jeremy. So good. Made it.
I was so good. I'm gonna end it on a good note. But hey,
end it on
the soap opera continues. Look? You don't have to watch Young and the Restless Monday at 11. Okay, just follow the Sooner Surge. There'll be plenty of soap opera if you're following the Sooner football team because it's happening each and every day. Thanks for watching tonight. We'll be back on tomorrow night at 9:30. Hit the like before you leave, and we will see you tomorrow night. Have a super Sunday, everybody.